financially before the end of the year. So over the next few weeks, we'll talk about more things. We've already covered things like taxes and investments, and today we're talking about estate planning, and it's something that's relatively new. Digital assets. Stewart Welch joins us from the Welch Group to talk more about this. It's kind of a new thing. Well, I shouldn't say too new, but it is something we have to cover, that when we pass away, you got to make sure everything we're doing digitally in terms of our finances, our people who are left behind, they know what to do with, right?
And Mike, I think most people never think about this, but if you stop for just a minute and think of all the things you do digitally, all the things you do online, and the access to that and what happens to that if you are suddenly not here, then you go, wow, maybe I need to do something about that.
Let's talk about first things that we do need. Of course, we need our last will and testament.
Yeah, so the basics, we talk about this all the time. We need a will, power of attorney, healthcare directive, the living will and all of that. Hopefully everybody's got that in place. The digital assets are kind of a new scene, and there are three things that we would recommend. The first one is I want you to develop an inventory. So start with an inventory of everything that you care about. So Facebook, think about your photos that are in the cloud. I have digital assets like deeds and things that I put on digital computers. So, and apps, there are lots of apps that you paid for. And so you think about all those things and just make a list of them. And then number two is most of these, now you go online for whatever that particular digital asset is, and they'll have a process for who gets access to it if you're not there. And they'll have a process so you can register somebody as the person that would have the ability to do that. And I think third, and maybe the most important, is you need to update your will. So in 2018, they passed this law called, now listen to this, the Revised Uniform Fiduciary Access to Digital Assets Act. Now, Mike, say that 5 times.
And I'm not going to, but that's a state law that was passed, right?
It was a state law. It's very similar laws passed across the country, but basically, that needs to be in your will, and if you're a representative of an estate, or if you're the agent in a power of attorney, or if you're the trustee of a trust, this particular section allows you the right to have access to those digital assets.
I guess that could include anything, some apps, iTunes accounts, anything.
So iTunes is a great point. iTunes actually won't transfer, and under the agreement, you bought all your iTunes,
right? But
you don't own them. You only own them for your life. And they're not transferable.
I'm glad we threw that caveat in there. And just as we wrap up here, so and I guess it's a good idea to have somewhere in a safe place the passwords, usernames, somewhere saved where whoever can get that information, if they need it, can get in those accounts, right?
Yeah, I would accumulate all that in their apps that accumulate all of them under one big master password, like a LastPass.
All right, good information. Stewart Welch this morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, sir.
Same to you.